But you're right. Interacting with the fans, same thing here. Got some questions for you from some of our sports recall people at Twitter.
Awesome. Let's hear them.
All right. So first up, we got Mike from Porter Ranch. Thank you for sending this in, Mike. Mike wants to know, do you have a place to ski that's your favorite?
How we doing, Mike? Thanks for the question. Favorite place? It's going to be a little biased, but, I got to go with my home site, Shortline Lake. That's where, I've grown up and, done most of my skiing there. And, there's something special about that, just growing up and spending all the time there. But it's also, known as one of the top, man-made water ski lakes in the world. So, definitely has its advantages as well.
Got it. Next up, we got Jeremy coming to us from Denver, Colorado. He wants to know, when you were growing up, not what, but who was your biggest motivation? And before we get too many family members mad at you, maybe we'll say top 2 or 3.
Biggest motivation, I always, looked up to my dad, and he always helped motivate me, and I was pretty driven as a kid as well. So I probably look at some of the people I looked up to in the sport that really drove me. Justin Seafried, he was one of the up and coming kids when I was growing up, and had the opportunity to train with him for a few years. So I'd say him, and then also looked up to, Andy Mapple and Jeff Rogers, Wade Cox. Those were the top pro skiers that, were at the top of the game. And then locally, the pros with Marcus Brown, Terry Winter, which I've had the opportunity to now ski against them. So, they're still competing and heavy favorites in a lot of the events. So, it's exciting to be able to compete against guys that you used to look up to as well.
Right. They say, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So you're out there going after him.
That's right. Have a lot of respect, but when we step out on the water, I'm giving it my all, and I know they are as well.
Got it. So our last question comes to us again right here in California. We got Anthony from Brea. Anthony says, "What is it like walking on water?"
It's definitely different than anything else, especially with the boat's going 36 miles an hour. We're at the shortest line lengths. We're reaching up to 70 miles an hour. So, it's a great feeling of the speed and, adrenaline rush. And I don't know if I can really describe what it is. It's just something that's different and unique.
Well, maybe, Anthony, you need to get out there yourself. Maybe not at 36 miles an hour right off the bat, but you can start on kind of my boat. We'll go slower. All right. So last but not least, Brian, we're going to finish up with just kind of a little rapid fire thing we do with everybody. So just going over your favorites. And I think one of them you've already given to us. Favorite motto or saying.
Play for keeps. That's another one that a friend of mine from Arkansas kind of came up with based on my style of skiing. I'm always holding on to the handles sometimes too long, which creates some spectacular crashes. So trying to be a little smarter with that, but that kind of goes along with the the heart that I said earlier about. That's what I think that separates me a lot of times is I put everything on the line, and even though sometimes I may not let go at the right moment, I don't think it's ever a question that I'm not giving it my all.
So going in the other favorites right now, your favorite car.
I've been had my eyes on the F-150 lately.
Okay, keep it practical. Definitely get you to and from the lake. Favorite type of food?
Rosemary lamb, or my mom's homemade cream corn.
Can't beat home cooking, right? All right. Your favorite actor?
Adam Sandler. He's probably one of the top ones. Or really started liking Jason. Trying to blank on his name from Homefront. Just watched that movie, action movie, Stanton, I believe.
Jason Statham?
Statham, yeah, there you go.
When you say Adam Sandler, he's made a lot of sports movies. I mean, people seen Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy. What's the chance maybe we need to, reach out, see if he'd do something with the water skiing scene in there?
Hey, that'd be great. I'm sure he'd like to get out on the water, and I'll get out on the water with him as well.
Yeah, and you can be the pro skier, and then he can have the spectacular crash himself.
Perfect. I'd rather have him than me lately.
Got it. So, favorite actors, is there a favorite movie you have, or just a movie you could watch over and over again?
One of them that comes to mind off the top of my head is Remember the Titans.
Going the inspirational route, kind of.
Yeah, but like you said, Happy Gilmore, a lot of Adam Sandler movies, great movies.
Got it. What is your favorite time of year, your favorite holiday?
Probably say Thanksgiving, not just because of the food, but, it's the time, when we're able to bring the family together, and, family's, very important to me. So I'd have to go with that one.
Yeah, I imagine you're flying around the world all year. It's at least one time, everybody's in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, it's hard with everybody's schedules, growing up in life, everybody's got, doing their own thing. So it's that one time a year that you can almost always guarantee that everybody's able to come together.
Now, a lot of sports fans, especially here at Sports Recall, are gamers. Do you have a favorite video game? Can be new or old school.
That was one thing didn't really get into when I was younger. My brother and we always liked being outside playing rather than the video games. I remember in middle school we still had the little gray Nintendo box that was my older brother's, from him growing up. So, if I'd have to say one, it'd be, Mario Kart, go with the classic.
Got it. Definitely old school. And then are you much of you're on the water, you're just out there with yourself, your skis, your equipment, the boat, but you can't be on the water all the time. So when you're on dry land, are you a sneaker guy? Do you have the shoe collection like a lot of other people?
Not so much right now, but in high school had a little more of a shoe collection with some Jordans and things like that.
Okay. Anyone your favorite, or if you could go back and have a fresh pair of whatever you had back in the day?
I'd probably say the 11s or 21s.
Okay, not bad selections at all. All right. So last but not least, we know you got a lot coming up that you're excited about. If you could just let everybody out there know about the events, where we can check you out and take a look to see how you do.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year to kick off my summer. It'll be the U.S. Masters. That'll be my first time skiing in that. And we've got a couple new events as well that I'm looking forward to. But we've got two more events that'll be first for me that I'm really excited about. It'll be the Open World Championships in Italy, and then also was invited to the World Cup event in Malaysia.
Malaysia, nice. I think I've only seen that on TV, travel guide brochures, but definitely has to be going to be a great experience for you coming up.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. Training right now to prepare, and really excited about the opportunities for this 2015 season.
All right, well, so are we. And, we have to make sure for the fans out there, anybody that does want to get a hold of you, ask you any other questions, how do they get a hold of you, Brian, on social media?
Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Brian_Detrick. And Facebook, I've got a Facebook athlete page, Brian Detrick, and then my website is briandetrick.com.
All right. Simple enough. Everybody, we'd like to thank Brian Detrick coming out. It's been a pleasure. Wish you the best of luck, and definitely going to be keeping an eye on you in these events coming up.
Thanks, Kareem. I appreciate you for having me.
All right. Sports Recall, everybody. Thanks for tuning in once again. Can't wait to see what we bring you next.